I want to go back a little bit. So, was it a conscious decision? You always wanted to be a programmer? Is it something you always saw? Was it that you got introduced to the Lowcode platform? What was your first impression of the the Lowcode technology, the platform, full stack development or Lowcode? Which would be your preferred way to, let's say, build a solution? In this episode with Jayesh Sonawane, who is the CEO and founder of Incquet Solutions, we delve deep into his journey as a freelance developer into a successful entrepreneur running a business on Lowcode. So Jayesh, welcome to the show. We are so happy to have you here today. How are you feeling?
Thanks for having me here.
Okay, so let's get started knowing you a little bit more. Could you tell us a bit about your journey? Where are you from, and how you ended up, starting this business of yours? So a little bit your journey itself.
Sure. So I come from a small town in Maharashtra called Bhusawal, and I had done my schooling from Bhopal in Bhusawal. Later, I went for engineering in IT, and from a college in Nagpur called KITS Ramteg actually. And from after there, so since I was from the programming background and all that, I was able to crack an internship in a startup which was using Zoho Creator for them.
Okay.
So I joined there as a front-end intern, and quickly I got grip on Creator, and I started contributing and got placed there actually. And then since the started was in hustle mode, so we used Creator extensively to handle each and everything and achieve their goals and all that. So from there I got to know more about Creator, and which I used in my freelancing career. I started freelancing and helping companies around the globe to automate their businesses, and this is how I scaled. I met my co-founder Rashmi in college actually, and she was also doing front end. She also joined front end as a front end developer in Creator, and so she also started contributing in my freelancing projects and all that, and together we were delivering some appealing looking UI business softwares on Zoho Creator. So that leads up to a team which today we call that Incquet Solutions.
Okay,
yeah,
that's a great journey. So I want to go back a little bit. So was it a conscious decision? You always wanted to be a programmer? Is it something you always saw, or was it just like, okay, after college I'm just going to do an engineering? So how was that part of it? Were you always sure this is what you wanted to do?
Yeah. So how it came is, the first time I interacted with programming was in school. So I was from KV, and there in KV in 11th you have information practices as your subject, right? So there the first language I got to know about is Visual Basics, and you can totally relate that to Creator. It also has a UI drag and drop thing from where you can create forms and then you can put logic into it. So from there I got into programming, and from there I know that this is what I want to achieve and all that kind of thing.
Okay. And was business also in the plan? You always wanted to be an entrepreneur?
Nah, that was there were multiple factors to start business. One of the factor, there are 2 or 3 factors. One of the factor was support from Rashmi as well. Yeah. So one of the major factor was when I got into Creator, and since I was from a front-end background, so I always had that confusion in my mind: should I stick with front-end or should I go with Creator? Because Creator was very least used in the market, and there was no more job in Creator as compared to a front-end developer. So I always had that thing in mind. So that was a nice tip I received from someone who told me that front-end will be just used to in a certain part of the website, and it will add a certain value in the business. But if you are doing entire CRM for a particular business, that adds up a lot of value, because single-handedly you will be able to automate the whole business, and the whole business will be relying on the thing which you have made. So that leads a very important part in deciding that I had to continue with this. And when I started freelancing, at that particular point also I was confused that should I do. I didn't started freelancing because of I chose to. There was some layoffs, and out of that this was the first thing I knew that it can be done to keep the money flowing.
Okay.
So I started doing that, and I didn't thought that I will do that from full-time perspective. I was also looking for another job and all that. But there came a time where I realized that this is the best thing which happened to me. And to keep me floating, Rashmi was on another job. She was a front-end developer in another startup actually. Okay. So she was used to handle the financials when I was getting low in the initial phase. So due to this support and those factors, actually we started focusing on this and take it to the next level.
Got it. So you wanted to be a change maker. You wanted to make some difference using the platform. That's where you came from.
Yeah.
Also, one more thing what are the timelines though? You mentioned you worked in Creator and then as a freelancer. So when was all of this happening? What was your, when was it that you got introduced to the Lowcode platform initially?
Okay. So I joined this startup in 2015 as an intern.
Okay.
And there I got to know about Creator, and I got to know about Creator. It is also an interesting story because they was introduced to Creator from another senior developer who got to know about Creator from his previous company actually. Okay. So he was hired there for doing some other work, some operations or something like that, and they were doing that thing on Sheet. Okay. So this guy told the CEO that these all things, he didn't even told them. He just built the whole thing on Creator and then directly showed to the CEO. And he got so impressed that he gave him the whole job to automate the whole business on Creator actually. Okay. So that is how I got to know. So by the time I joined there, the pre-sales part of the system and some other aspect of the system was already automated for a particular city actually, and there I got to know about Creator. And when I was there as a front-end developer, I worked as a front-end developer for a few weeks, and then they shifted me to this team, CRM team. Okay. And at that particular point, CRM team consists of one manager and one developer, who this guy Shreyas, who was handling the whole thing and all. So under that, I got assigned the task of elevating the whatever I can contribute. So since I was from front-end background, I started by elevating the UI of the dashboards. So since Shreyas was not from the tech background, but he had a logical mind and he understood business and so all that. So he had actually automated the flow, but from a technical perspective, I was able to see that from UI perspective, it can do much better. So that I applied. I started using Bootstrap and technologies and started elevating the UI perspective. So from there, I jumped into Creator, and later, since I was from a full stack background, I was able to grab Creator very quickly because it is very easy to understand platform. And then this is how we dive deep into Creator. Yeah. Got
it. So you touched upon that point, right? You are in the core a full stack developer.
Yeah.
You come from that background. So what was your first impression of the the Lowcode technology, the platform?
Okay.
You did have the VB, like you said, the VBXL background. So like, how was it? What was the first impression? What did you feel when you saw, okay, you can just drag and drop, do a bit of coding and have a full-fledged application out there? So what was that like?
So as a fresher, I didn't get, I was not able to appreciate that much at that particular point because a very small task was given to me that do this and that, and do this and that. But later when I got into freelancing and, and there, we were able to do end-to-end thing for a single business, there I greatly, understood the appreciation for Creator, what wonders we can do within a little amount of work and time for a company, which can add a lot of value and a lot of impact for a business actually. Yeah, it's usage like, and from looking from a developer or full stack perspective, building app in full stack is actually building a database and APIs to connect with the front end, then building the front end from scratch and all that. Then you are able to build a thing which you can deploy and have other perspective as well. In Creator, on drag and drop, you can create a form which creates a database. So that is this much easy and this much quick. Likewise, if you want to implement any type of custom logic, there are multiple trigger points available on load of the form, on submit of the form and everything. You just have to put your logic there. You don't have to configure the database, the APIs, and the front end aspect. So there is a nice saying in our team at Creda. The thing we used to do in the only 2 developers were there in CRM team, or around 40-50 they were there in the Fullstack team actually. And they were using months to build and deliver a particular module, and we used to just sit in a meeting today and deliver tomorrow actually. So yeah.
That is great. So at this point, now that you're experienced in both, where will your vote fall? Like, will you be voting for a full stack development or low code? Which would be your preferred way to, let's say, build a solution?
Okay, I would be a mix of both actually. Having full stack knowledge and using Creator actually gives a competitive advantage in building the whole thing. So it is use case based as well. In Creator you can come to market in a very less time with comparatively less investment and less resources. But if you're building something for the consumer side or something for as a product for your customer base or something like that, then sticking with full stack or something like that is makes sense. But if you're building something for the company, for the internal purpose, then Creator and low code platform would be more beneficial option.
Okay, so for you, it's best of both worlds. You bring the low code and then you add your expertise of full stack development.
Exactly.
Okay, wonderful. So you mentioned about your freelance journey. So how did you get leads at that point? Like, you had just left Creda, you were trying to find job on low code. How was that? Like, how did you generate leads? Were you there on platforms? How did you find job at that point?
So I mentioned the hustle mode of Creda. It helped me to create multiple things and create a portfolio out of it actually. So the next thing, I had a reference of Upwork from Shreyas only. So I got into Upwork, and the next thing which was known to me was to upload the portfolio there and start my account on Upwork actually. So from there, this is time of 2016 when I started freelancing, and at that particular point there were a handful of developers in the whole world actually. When I gave my test of Zoho Creator on Upwork, I was placed second on the world rank actually, out of 400 or 500 developers. There I got to know that only this much developers are there on the Upwork. So from there, since I had a nice experience, as well as I had things to show, because since we are into UI, I was having ultimate material to show what I have built and all that kind of thing. So that helped as a magnet for me actually. So I didn't have to sell. My profile used to actually bring lead. Yes.
Okay, got it. So how long did you freelance, and what was that turning point where you decided, okay, now I have to start a business? I think this is going to help me, run a business. This is substantial enough for me to actually have a business of my own. What was that point? Okay.
So while the time, from 2016 to 2018, we have served multiple clients from different verticals, and in the journey we have built something very custom for some of the thing, very generic thing for multiple stuffs, like a custom dashboard, custom detail page, custom Kanban view. So the custom Kanban view we built in 2016-17, and before the Kanban view was delivered by Creator actually. So we done that for a manufacturing industry to stabilize their assembly process and all that kind of thing. So we were thinking that it can be reused in multiple applications. So we were thinking of converting them as a product, and for that we thought of starting a brand and putting it as a product on the marketplace, something like that. That is how we thought that we should register Incquet.
Okay. Yeah. So was that beginning, was it only you and Rashmi, or how did you bring about the team? Did you have more people joining initially itself, or how is that?
I had Rashmi with me initially in 2016 and 17. In 17, I had one of my friend actually whose career started with us as a Zoho developer only. So he has worked with me, with Shreyas as well. so Shreyas, I told you, the senior, he also started his own firm. He's also a Zoho partner actually. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so he's worked with us and all that. So likewise, we tried to, so that was the first only fresher, you can say. Rest of the team was actually domain expert in their own field. We just collaborated them whenever some specialized task was needed. And in that way, we started a mix of full-time and part-time contributors, and that is how we started building the team.
Okay, so when did you start the business? Which year was that?
So business was started in 2018.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one very interesting aspect I would love to know more about is how was that growth like? So from 2018, starting to get your business, kickstarting your business, how is it growing now? Like how is the monetary aspect? How are you able to get more customers? Like how is that growing right now?
It has been growing on exponential basis actually, because now people are realizing this is an important aspect of a business. They had started investing on this particular thing. So and due to this particular thing, as well as the market is going for Zoho and all that, we are getting a lot of demand. And to fulfill the demand, we have to innovate, as well as we have to scale, and that is giving us the result as an exponential growth and all.
Okay, that is good to hear.
Yeah.
And do you see a difference in the way customers are approaching, let's say in 2018 when you started versus now? Is there more awareness about low-code for the customers, or are they coming to you looking for any solution? Are you suggesting low-code? Like, is there a difference from then to now?
Slight difference, you can say, but in types of customer, there are certain customer who already know about Creator. There are certain customer who want to use the whole stack, whole Zoho One stack actually. So in some of the cases, we have to actually recommend that instead of going for a generic, you should build something custom for yourself actually. And in some of the cases, like if the customer is from a very niche background, say jewelry or manufacturing or SEO marketing or something like that, and they find that something available is not working for them, so they totally either come from a full stack thing in mind, or we recommend them Creator actually.
Okay. So you mentioned about one customer, which is like a jewelry customer. So you have worked across different domains and verticals. Can you tell us a bit about some of those solutions and what you've tried to achieve with it? Maybe 3 different such solutions that you've built, and what is those applications? What do they do? Okay.
So one of the solution is recently marketing is very going on in very highly manner, right? There is one customer from US. They do SEO marketing. All right. So they were using multiple apps to handle their business grow. So they were using Zoho CRM to handle their sales part, but the execution part is there for marketing. You have to strategize content, then you have to deliver content on monthly basis. So multiple people from different department is involved in doing that. So each person was having their own tool. Some was using Sheet, some was using Zoho Project, some was using Trello to handle all that kind of thing. So they didn't had a centralized place to look into it. And when they had to share the deliverable with the client, they have to collect data from multiple apps. So that was taking a lot of time and effort for managing that. So we created a custom project management for SEO industry.
Okay.
SEO marketing industry, where once they onboard, they are able to strategize their content for the next 12 months. Different person will go there and brainstorm about the content. Then once the content is approved, they are able to release that on monthly basis. And that particular delivery also happens in multiple stages. First of all, the writer writes the content. Then the developer will create a web page of that particular content. Then the SEO guy will do the SEO of that particular thing. Then that is delivered. And likewise, there are multiple tasks associated with that particular content. So everything which was is scattered to toward multiple sector, it is now centralized in a single place. In a single click, they can share a link to their customer, from where he can see all the data which they have delivered to them.
Okay, so basically solving all the data silos and bringing something together and building a whole solution.
Yes.
Okay, any other interesting solutions that you've
interesting, we would recommend. One was for the end-to-end solution. If you are talking about, there is an interesting solution we have built for a real estate startup in Mumbai.
Okay.
So for this guy, actually, this was a monolithic single ERP to handle each and every aspect of that particular business. So when we actually started with a particular department, and month by month, they started, automating each and every department of their business process. In short, we automated the whole demand size as well as the supply side of the real estate business, and integrated Creator with their website as well. Okay. So all the onboarding of the leads, when a new tenant comes, the onboarding process, then the apartment onboarding, new owners come, their onboarding process, and once that is done, pushing the apartment to website, then keeping the inventory integrated. So that was a monolithic project for us, an ERP specialized for real estate. So that was an interesting one.
Okay. So when any customer comes to you, what are those processes? Like, how do you get started with it? What is the process that you go through until delivery? Just for the understanding, like a broad level understanding.
First of all, we try to visualize the process. How is the process? In short, any business, whether it sells a service or whether it sells a product, there is a standard flow for it, which Zoho CRM already covers. We try to find out where their process is getting custom. Okay. There in every business there will be a lead module, sales module, operations module, product module, inventory module, and all that kind of thing. But we try to understand how their business process works, and we try to picturize that in a flow chart, and then we identify what they are using right now, and then what are the pain points they are facing, and based on that we then design an architecture which actually fulfills all their need, as well as is robust enough, which can be scaled and take care of future demand as well.
Okay, so kind of understanding the scalability part of it for the future and keeping that in mind in the beginning itself would be something that's essential. Yeah. Okay, so my last question to you is, what is that one advice that you would give to a company out there who is trying to build their business on Lowcode? Like one advice that you would give.
One advice would be just get it started with Creator, and you will be able to appreciate the value it will add. And another is to sorry, I'm taking another one as well, but is to if you're building from the thing in mind that this will take care of your business for a longer time, you should invest in someone who has experience with that, so that it can lay the foundation of that architecture of this application very nicely. Because a base architecture or base structure for the whole business app is very crucial in order to be scaled to the next level.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. So being long-sighted about it and seeing the future of it rather than just solving the problem, just what you're saying in front of you. Yeah. Okay, got it. And so thank you so much, Jayesh, for joining us today. It was a great chat. We are happy to have you here. Thank you. So thank you everyone for joining in. Please stay tuned. We'll have more episodes coming soon.